Welcome back to How to Wash Wool, and we are in my basement with my awesome top-loading washing machine. We're going to be washing a ton of wool in here. This is my favorite method of washing wool. You can just get a ton done at once, super efficient. You don't have to deal with the water. It goes away. It's amazing. So for this tutorial, we are obviously going to be using Power Scour by Unicorn. Power Scour is earth-friendly, biodegradable, septic safe. There's no sodium lauryl sulfate. It's all natural and awesome, and honestly the most effective wool cleaning shampoo out there. Super concentrated. You don't need a lot, and it smells amazing. So I'm going to start by I've already turned my thermostat on my hot water heater up, so I know I'm going to get lots of hot water. Now, if you have a wash machine that has a function of just filling with hot water, use that. If your washing machine has the hot cold function where it will like fill with hot, fill with cold, fill with hot, fill with cold, in the back of your washing machine, you can turn your cold faucet off, and that way it only fills with hot. So the way to make this work is to make sure that the water going in here is always hot. So let me get my hot water going. Okay, I have hot water going in there. And you use about a tablespoon of Unicorn product per pound of wool, and I'm going to guesstimate that I'm going to wash about 5, 6, 7 pounds, so I'll do like 7 tablespoons, and I'm just going to eyeball that. I never measure. Measuring isn't fun to me. And now we're going to start putting the wool fleece in. This fleece was already skirted, so all of the nastiest parts, all the poop, all the gross stuff is not going in this wash. This is just the best wool from this sheep. Okay. Now, compared to the other tutorials I did, this water is not as hot, but I'm not worried about that because this wool that I'm washing is actually more dirty than greasy. It isn't tacky, it isn't lanolly, it isn't oily, it's just kind of dusty and dirty. So if your wool is super oily, you need hot water to get that oil off the fiber. But if your wool is just dirty, the water doesn't need to be so hot. Okay, so when I feel the water, it feels like It feels smooth, like there's product in it, but it doesn't feel slimy. I know when I used to use dish soap for these tutorials, I would squirt and squirt and squirt and squirt and squirt until the water was blue, and I would go until it felt soapy. And for this, you don't need to use as much product, which is great. So now we're going to let it sit for 20 minutes. While this soaks, I want to show you in my dark and creepy basement the controls on my washing machine. So on the water level, all the way over here, I have it all the way to high. The soil level doesn't matter because we're not agitating this load. We're just soaking it. The temperature is all the way to hot. The rinse cycles, we're not doing those, so this doesn't matter. And I've set my dial to soak. Now, when I set it to soak to fill the basin with hot water, I pulled this out. And then when I was lowering the lid for the soaking process, I pushed it back in. Because if I don't push it in, the cycle begins like this. And that is not a sound you want to hear when you are washing wool. So make sure that you cut the cycle by either pressing in your knob, or you might need to leave the lid of your top washing machine open, because sometimes I've had washing machines that, regardless of the cycle, once the lid is closed, it starts agitating. So in that case, you just want to keep an eye on your water and make sure that it doesn't get super cool. But I like to leave my lid closed because it insulates the water and keeps it warm. So we'll wait another few minutes and then we will empty out our load. It's been about 20 minutes and I'm going to take my amazing tool, my potato masher, and I'm going to press the fiber down. I can't really see in this basement how dirty the water is, so I'm going to, yeah, it's pretty dirty, but I do not think that this fleece is going to need a second wash. If the water was like hot chocolate, then it would need another wash, but this water is more like really, really dark tea, and so that it's the opacity, it's the milkiness of the water that makes me think, okay, I need to wash this more. But as long as the water is somewhat clear, that lets me know that a fleece is dirty rather than greasy. So we will go ahead and spin the water out of this, and I'll show you how I do that on the dials on my washing machine. Turn this to a spin cycle, and you can tell by listening that the water is just leaving the machine and going into the septic, and I don't have to worry about it because the soap I used is biodegradable. So the spin cycle is done, and now all of the wool is along the side of the drum, and just by picking it up and feeling it, it feels clean. It's got a little bit of squeak to it. That's exactly what I want, so I'm just going to fluff it up a little bit, and we are going to rinse it. And so to get that started, I'm just going to fill this up with hot water again, let it sit for probably 10-15 minutes, drain the water out, and then we'll be done. Okay, I know I don't need a full drum of water because now that the fleece is wet, we don't need as much rinse water as soapy water. We'll just save some water. Okay, so let's let this sit 10 minutes and then we'll drain it and we'll put it outside.